The soccer market is booming right now. Almost every week, a new franchise. In USL, USN1, USL2, private academies everywhere. The World Cup is coming. We have NFL, NBA, and soccer right now.
I wasn't good enough to play. I didn't want to be a coach, but I wanted to work in football.
You don't need to be a good football player to work in this industry. You just need to understand how it works. You can be a sports lawyer, you could be an agent, you could be a scout, you could be a coach. The first question to ask is like, what do you like? And what you don't like.
What's your biggest piece of advice to someone that wants to have a career working in football?
You need to study the market and see where are the opportunities.
A scout is going to a game.
Yeah.
What context has the scout got before he goes to watch the game?
He will need to see 5 different criteria: athletic, the mental, the cognitive, the technical.
Anthony, what's your definition of success?
That's a very hard question, but I would say that my definition of success is achieving your desired goals or positive results.
What's been the biggest key to success for you in your career?
Originally I was not into the football industry. So being in a very few period of time, I would say the world leader in football education industry, I mean, I'm very, very proud of it. Very proud of it.
So, and when you've been on your journey, like if someone was listening to this podcast,
Yeah.
like who is Anthony? What does he do? Like, can you explain to us like what your role is in
Yes.
football?
Yeah, so I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been working in the football industry since the last 15 years. And I'm very focused into the football education side. So now I have 3 different brands. The first one is called Formation Football, which is basically a French brand for French speaking markets. And we're doing online training for aspiring scouts, video analysts, and data analysts. I have another brand called Soccer EDU, which is the US brand that we've launched like 6 or 7 months ago. And we're doing exactly the same thing, but we adapted our educational contents to the US market. And the last brand that I have is called Sports Agent Institute, and we're also the world leader in FIFA agent exam prep.
So at what point did you think, okay, I need to create this company, I need to create this organization? Was it a moment? Was it a time thing where you just like woke up like, we need this? Like,
I think it's a market opportunity. So in France, for example, when we started, we realized that many first or second division clubs, they didn't have a very structured scouting department or video analysis department. And I mean, we know how useful it is right now for clubs to have scouts and video analysts in your staff. So we took the decision to create our own model. In countries like Portugal, for example, Brazil, they are very, very experienced and very, very structured. So we got inspired by very professional and experts coming from their countries, and we built the whole course. Same for the agent side. We realized that every year you have something like 10,000 people who are trying the FIFA agent exam, but unfortunately the success rate is still very low. And the reason is very simple. It's like people are not very well prepared. So we took the decision to design our own platform to help them. So basically we want to help the whole football industry doing better.
and so what's your experience in the game? Did you play? Did you coach? Like, what's your experience with football?
I was a very, very poor player. But my experience is on the entrepreneurship side. So I started very young in the football industry as an entrepreneur, and I had the opportunity to meet maybe 100 or 150 clubs. Could be president, GMs, scouts, sporting director. So I had a very, I would say, good understanding of the whole industry. And then I used to be an agent myself more than 10 years ago. So we had an agency and we used to represent 10 to 15 first division players in France. But, I realized that I was not very good as an agent.
So someone might listen to that and they might think like, oh, this guy didn't play at a good level. Yeah. He wasn't a good player, but he still found his way in football. Like, did you always want to work in the game? Was it just something you were good at?
I'm passionate about the football industry and the whole, I would say, sports and entertainment industry. But football, I mean, I'm born in Paris. I'm a big PSG fan, and I've been supporting the club since my whole life. And the thing is, like, you don't need to be a good football player to work in this industry. You just need to understand how it works. You need to understand the code, how a club is structured, and I mean, yeah, you need to understand the whole industry to have a better idea.
At what point did you first come to America?
That was very funny because I was here in the US 2 years ago for an event in Chicago, organized by a coaching association, and I've met a guy working for the US Federation, and he was a French guy actually, and we just had a small chat about what we're doing in France, and he was like, "Wow, you're doing online training for scout video data. We don't have something similar here," and I was very surprised because in my mind you cannot bring something new in the sports industry here in the US. They already have everything. And I've done some research and some interviews with the sporting director of MLS clubs, USL clubs, private academies, and I was asking always the same question: how do you hire your scouts or video analysts? And the answer was always the same: either in Europe, Latin America, or I hire a coach and I give him some scouting or video analysis mission. But there is no no professional path. So either in universities or online. So we took the decision to create a very specific online courses for the North American market.
So what do you feel like is the US is missing in terms of the system and the structure? So the problem that you're solving is that scouts are not like American scouts are not educated enough because they don't have experience, so the clubs need to train them.
The clubs need to train them, and they don't have enough scouts. When we talk with USL clubs, for example, they don't have a very structured scouting department. So same for, I would say, the coaching and the performance staff. Some of them, they don't have a video analyst. They have cameras. But
so how is the process different from Europe to America in terms of, like, give me an example of a European scouting department and an MLS scouting department?
It's basically the same, but we are more targeting the USL clubs, for example. In France, when we talk about PSG, Marseille, Lyon, they are very well structured. So they don't need to have more scouts into their scouting departments or more video analysts trained. But when we target the Ligue 2, so the second division, we realize that they don't have scouts, or they have scouts in their own region, but it's usually coaches or former player, so he's not very well trained. He doesn't know how to make a very good report, and he doesn't know how to use the tools. So we was still very surprised when we targeted the French market.
So in Europe or France, for example, how do scouts learn how to scout? Like, do the clubs train them?
5 years or maybe 6 years ago, it was like, if you have a good eye because you used to be a coach or a player,
they trust you.
Yeah, they trust you and you can be a scout. But today, it's completely different. I think that European clubs are looking for more hybrid profile. So when you are looking to hire a scout, you don't want only a scout. You want a scout who will be able to use video analysis, who will also understand data, and who will be able to talk with the coach, because all the information that he will gather, we need to bring those information to the coach.
How do you become a scout if you haven't played football?
By being passionate, by watching a lot of games, by following an online course. You just need the passion to be good at something.
What would you say makes a good scout compared to an average scout? Because I'm thinking, like, generally speaking, an average scout watches a game, thinks, okay, striker, scored a goal, good, take him. But what would the best scout be looking for?
The average or the poor scout would say that's a good player. The very good and professional scout would say that's the good fit, the good player for the right club at the right moment. It's all about context. You know, for example, when we think about, you know, Thierry Henry, great player. But think about Thierry Henry in Barcelona at the beginning. That's a good. Does it mean that Thierry is not a good player? Of course not.
It's interesting because I scout a lot and I go and watch a lot of players, and every player is different because it's true, like you have different contexts of clubs. Like some clubs want to be direct, some clubs are more technical. It's interesting to get your perspective, like when scouting, because when you're scouting, I feel like a lot of scouts, when they go to games, like they're looking for a club that needs a left back that overlaps, or a midfielder that just keeps it simple, passes it, or a striker that's big, strong, hold the ball.
But you need to have much more information to scout the right player.
Okay, so let's say that I'm sending you. Would you consider yourself a scout or a scout coach, or?
I'm not a scout. I'm more an entrepreneur, you know. Yeah. But I've been working in the whole scouting industry since the last 10 years.
So for example, for a scout, when they're going to watch a game, like what do clubs usually give those scouts information? Like a scout is going to a game.
Yeah.
What context has the scout got before he goes to watch the game?
He could have different missions. Like, for example, our striker is injured and we're looking to have a new one. So the sporting staff will send him some, you know, very description of a very good description of the mission. And he will need to see how, you know, 5 different criteria. So it's like athletic, the mental, the cognitive, the technical. So you need to analyze all those points.
So why should I get your course? What does your course teach me?
Almost everything. So how to start from zero, how to identify talents, how to write a good report, how to do individual analysis, how to do team analysis, how to put the good player in the right context, and of course, how to use the tools. So we have a partnership with Huddle, and we learn to our students how to use Y-Scout, which is the #1 platform to scout players right now.
So if I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, wow, being a scout is like a lot of information that I didn't think about. I thought it was just going to a game. Like your so after I'm done with your platform, what's next? Like I finish the platform, do I get a certificate? Do I just get a load of clubs message me? Like what happens next?
So what we recommend is to do more than the scouting online training. You know, on the platform, when you subscribe, you have access to all the courses. So scouting, video, and data analysis. So we recommend to do the 3. Why? Once again, because now clubs are looking for hybrid profiles. When we are thinking about USL clubs, for example, they don't have, you know, a lot of money to spend on the sporting staff. So they will prefer to hire someone with different skills. So the first thing is like, become a hybrid profile by mastering.
So what do you mean by that? Because I think like someone listening to this might be a young footballer, wants to stay in football, wants to work in football. And I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I have, if you want to work in football, is like be versatile, have a lot of skills on your plate. What would be what does your course do for clubs? Like, what do clubs want in scouts? When you say a hybrid profile, what do you mean?
I mean, someone who will be able to, of course, doing some scouting missions, to mix scouting with video analysis, and to mix video analysis with data. I will give you an example. For the French market, like 3 weeks ago, we've done an online challenge. So we took a 3rd division team. We analyzed the whole season. We're saying, okay, this team, they had, you know, they need to improve on, you know, this striker position, midfield position, and left back position. So we analyze the whole game plan. We analyze how the staff is structured. So they already have scout, sporting director, and video analyst. So they're not missing a new guy for the professional team. So we was, you know, very interested in the second team, you know, the B team, the academy. In the academy, there is no much player coming from the academy to the #1 team. So we were thinking about how could we empower the reserve team to push new player to the academy. So we defined the whole strategy, mixing scouting, video, data analysis, and then we present the strategy to the sporting director, and he was amazed, like completely approved. And it's not because we're working in this industry for so long. It's like he was amazed because we've mixed the whole skills, scouting, video, and data. And today, I'm 100% sure that if you don't have those three skills, at least it's going to be very difficult for you to break into the industry and be part of a staff.
What's your definition of data analysis? Because I feel like a lot of clubs or players or coaches would be like, I'm going to analyze the game, and they just watch highlights or they just look at the stats vest, like how much they run.
Yeah.
How do you make a good analysis?
So data analysis, to my opinion, it's something you have to add to video analysis. You cannot use data, for example, only for scouting new players. I know that there are some especially English clubs who are focusing only on data, but to my opinion, that's not a good way of scouting, because you need to see the player. You don't need to to only get the data and say, okay, that's a good player for my team, because it's not enough. You need to see the player. Some, for example, cognitive information, you cannot get it on data. When a player is missing a goal and he's doing you don't have it on data. But it's very important information to get when you're scouting a player. You see the small details were very important. Think about the mental, the cognitive activity, everything that you cannot see in front of a screen. You need to go and watch the game physically, watch the player physically, see how good is it, entourage, agent, family, parents. We have so many examples of great players, but the career is not as good because of their parents.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what's the differences in football you feel like from France and America?
Here they have they really love the game, of course, as in France. I feel that here it's it's new. So when we're talking with USL clubs, for example, they are spending much more money on the marketing and advertisement than on the team and the sporting staff. So I was pretty surprised by this way of thinking, but it will change. I think they will change. That's the main difference. And another one, which is very important, is like in France, parents are not very involved in their child's career. But here, they are going to every match, every trainings. They are buying cameras. They are doing, video analysis with the kids and help them how, to improve and everything. So that's something very, very interesting, which is good, I think.
Interesting, because I wanted to get your perspective, because you moved to the US, you said 6 months ago?
Yeah, it's pretty new.
Yeah, because I moved when I was 18.
Yeah.
And I remember there was so many cultural differences, and my roommates in college were actually from France. So
Okay.
Paul was from Strasbourg.
Yeah.
And my friend Victor was from Limoges.
Mm-hmm.
And they were from France, and they were always telling me in France how, like England, like football is like a religion. Everyone's crazy. Is the only thing you do, and the academy system is interesting in France. Paul was telling me he went to like a residential academy where he got transferred to, I forget the name of the club, but he went there, and in England a lot of my friends like went to digs and stuff. And I think like you're like when you first came to America, do you go and watch soccer? Do you have kids or?
Yeah, I have kids, but they are very young.
So they don't play yet.
Yeah, no. But I've been to many Inter Miami's game.
Yeah.
University game also. I'm trying to see some private academy games to just see how good is the level. But yeah, basically I think that the biggest lack is not on the athletic part. It's more about football IQ and tactical side.
So and you have a couple of other different brands, right? You have the Agent Institute, you have the Educational Institute. Tell us about, like, because you obviously said you're an entrepreneur, so you're involved in football that way. Like, what types of businesses do you have?
It's mainly online training businesses. So those two brands, of three brands, sorry. So Formation Football, once again, is for the French-speaking market. Online courses for scouts, video and data analysis. Sports Agent Institute, which is the FIFA agent exam prep, but we will open it to NBA agent exam prep, MLBPA and NFL also.
Amazing.
And Soccer EDU, which is the latest brand that we've launched. I mean, it's growing very fast. We have new clients every day, but we're trying to empower the brand and making very specific partnership.
It's interesting because I know we talked about this off camera, but I think that universities are really going to struggle in the future, because I feel like a lot of the players that I talk to, they don't really want to go to university to study the standard. They want to go to university to play soccer. Obviously, like, we're a soccer agency, but I feel like the younger generation now, they don't really value so much like in-person studying and like classes about math, history, geography, finance. Like, they want to like start making money or like do something like useful, because they see people on YouTube or Instagram making a load of money, TikTok. And so I think like these online courses and like trying to learn something useful from an early age is going to be interesting. And I think like what you're doing is pretty cool, because I would have loved to have done that when I was 18, 19. Like, I always knew. Well, when I was 18, 19, when I was in college, I thought I wanted to work at a bank.
Okay.
Because I would be like in corporate, and my family was like always worked in like for a good company. And then I realized I wanted to work in football, but I didn't know how. So I feel like your course would like teach me things that I kind of just taught by myself. I mean, like, why? So I'm a scout. Why can't I just learn to be a scout by myself? Like, why do I need you? Because it's so in depth.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to learn how to scout by yourself. Even if you used to be a former player or former coach, you have tons of. It's, to my opinion, it's a science.
What's been your biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur? Because I think everyone thinks that being an entrepreneur is amazing. You have your own schedule, you make loads of money. How is being an entrepreneur?
For many people, being an entrepreneur is like being free, which is not true. You're not free. You are thinking about your own company and your business every day. But I mean, as long as you are passionate about what you're doing, you don't feel to work. I don't have the feeling to go to work every day. For me, it's all about passion, about having great discussions like we have today, meeting new people, building something. And for my opinion, building something is the most important. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. I want to bring something into the market build something.
What's been your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur?
Having the credibility to start in the football industry, as I was, 22 or 23 years old French guy without any network in the football industry.
So how did you get over that?
We talked about a very interesting marketing strategy at the time. So we were in 2009 or 2009 or 2010. And we took the decision to put a classroom into a stadium. Right. So the first class that we had was into the PSG stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you get that? Did you have a contact or?
But we just called the stadium saying, okay, I know that you have some rooms available during the day. As there is no game, could we rent it? And they say yes. So our first, I would say, marketing campaign was about learn how to be an agent inside the stadium. So that was the first baseline, I would say. And then we duplicate this from in Marseille, Lille, Lyon, Nantes, Bordeaux. So they had classes in stadiums. So with this, brand image, we could bring some sporting directors, some famous agents speaking for like masterclasses and everything. So we are building the network on a day-to-day basis. It's not something that we get in 1 week.
Everyone says you need to network and you need to build relationships in football. What's been your key to success for networking and building relationships?
LinkedIn. To my opinion, LinkedIn is a powerful tool. And one other things that, to my opinion, is very important is you need to give first. Give something first before asking anything.
Give me an example of that.
For example, let's say that I want to, be in touch with, an agent, any kind of agent. I would like to think about what this guy could need. For example, as contact that I can have, or I know that for example, if he runs his own agency, maybe he has some junior scouts. I will give free access to our platform so they can improve, and then we're starting to talk more. And when I was young, I was doing always the same thing. It's like, you got a great profile, would you be open to talk to you for 5-10 minutes and got you a coffee or something? And when it comes to speaking about yourself, the people are always agree to do it. So you take the time, you speak with people, how to listen, because listening is a great skill, and some people, they don't realize it. And you start to build your network.
Do you feel like networking is easier in France than in America, or easy in America?
It's easier in America, for sure.
Because I feel like in England, people are very closed off.
Yeah. Same in France.
In America, I feel like everyone's like very positive, like, hey, like land of opportunity, like American dream.
As long as they see a business opportunity, it's
that's true. That's
very
true.
fast. But
that's true.
If they're not interested, or if they don't see any kind of business behind, close door.
So, and what's been, in terms of being an entrepreneur, like, what's the thing that you find most difficult
here
about just about in general, like being an entrepreneur? Like, what's something that you find you struggle with?
You feel very lonely when you have a problem, when you need to solve it. You can rely only on yourself. That's very it's very hard to live on a day-to-day basis. But
what do you mean lonely? You have a wife, you have kids, like, why are you lonely?
Yeah, but that's my position. I mean, when I go home, I don't talk about my job. My business and my family are something I don't mix it.
So why is it lonely?
Because when you are facing a problem, even if you are a business partner, you're two people in front of a problem. For example, I'll give you an example. Like last June in France, we had a very huge regulations problem. So basically, in few words, the regulation changed, and we had to change our offer. So we went to X thousand of dollars per month revenues from zero in 24 hours. So we had to rebuild the whole offer for the French-speaking market, to market it, to invest, and to, unfortunately, fire our whole sales team. So, that was very, very challenging.
How did you get over that? How did you...
To be honest, I don't know. I just, in my mind, I had to go over it.
How do you manage your emotions?
I do have a coach. And it helps me a lot.
Why?
Because 100% of the time you have the own solution. You have the solution, but your mind is not. You just can't see it. You are like mind blowing, and you can't see it. But when you are talking, the coach, he's trying to give you the right way to find your own solution.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's something that I struggle with sometimes, is managing emotions, because I don't think people understand like the responsibility that an entrepreneur has in terms of like if this doesn't work, like people lose their job, or they lose like money, or and you're managing a lot of people, especially in football. It's very emotional. I'm dealing with players and their parents. I'm dealing with and I think managing emotions is very difficult. It's very interesting. Like I was very at the start erratic. Like I would always, like when I started Solid Generation, I think I was 21 or 22. And we were dealing with kids going abroad, like 23, 24 years old. And I had I had experience, but I was just, that was the first time I did that.
Yeah.
So if a player said something I didn't like, or if I heard some information feedback I didn't agree with it, I would kind of reply very quickly. And now I'm like, take a deep breath, like, okay, analyze this from the other person's perspective too, and think about what they're thinking, and managing your emotions like that. Like, what I'm curious too, like about hiring a coach. Is it more of a therapist or coach, or
No, it's
mental performance coach?
I would say no. It's a coach. It's not about mental performance. It's like about how you see
Communicating.
you communicate. Yeah.
Mm.
So I've done something.
What was the need for you to be like, okay, now I need to have
You
this?
know what I realized many years ago. It's like you have different types of personality. So for example, I would take my wife when she has a problem. My first reaction was like, okay, you have a problem. This is an Excel sheet, solution A, B, C, blah, blah, blah. But she doesn't understand that.
Mhm.
So her way of communicate is like, I had to go and see her and say, okay, you will do it. You're the best, and that's it. It's two different type of
How to manage
communication.
people.
How to manage people. Yeah, sometimes you are just overreacting, saying, okay, that's your problem. Oh, I'm gonna help you, but
How do you manage people? Because it's something that I think at a certain point when you start growing, like your position comes about hiring and managing people and delegating.
I spend time with them. That's it.
Just show them you
Yeah,
love them. And,
yeah, I love them. I'm trying to understand them, how they work, how they think, how their families, kids, and everything, and then it's easier to talk to someone.
What makes you gain respect for an employee?
Okay, I think that I'm loyal, and I've been working with the same people since the last 10 years, maybe. So and there is no big turnover in the company.
And what makes a good employee? Like, what do you look for when you're hiring?
Loyalty, honesty, passion, and of course skills.
And what's a red flag? What would make you be like, nah, you're out, you're gone?
That's a good question. It's like in a football team. You need to have good players, but also team players. So if you're a very individual player, you're not good to start in my company. You need to be a team player.
What's like someone listening to this that's like, I want to work in football, I want to have a success, I'm not good enough to play. That was me. I wasn't good enough to play. I didn't want to be a coach, but I wanted to work in football. What's your biggest piece of advice to someone that wants to have a career working in football?
It depends. You have tons of jobs in the football industry. You can be a sports lawyer, you could be an agent, you could be a scout, you can be a coach, you can whatever. So the first question to ask is like, what do you like and what you don't like? And then you need to study the market and see where are the opportunities from today to the next 5 years. And that's, to my opinion, why now it's the great time to think about scouting, video, and data analysis. Why? The reason is very simple. You have not every day, but almost every week, a new franchise. In USL, USN1, USL2, blah, blah, private academies everywhere. The World Cup is coming. So the soccer market is booming right now. I think it's the third sport in the US. So you have NFL, NBA, and soccer right now. So it's going to be a huge market. And of course, they're going to need someone to market the club, do communication, promotion, blah, blah, blah. But they have to hire sporting staffs. To have great team, they need to play well. They need to improve on the tactical, technical side. So they will have tons of opportunity as scouts, video, and data analysis because they will need it. The coaches' education is managed by the U.S. Soccer Federation and the league. So if you are interested in coaching, you need to go there and follow the whole path. But you have tons of new jobs around the football industry. Yeah.
And how do you see the football industry growing in America?
It's very fast. I mean, I used to come for holidays in the US since I'm maybe 7 or 8, and I used to see other, kids wearing basketball or American football shirts when I was young. But right now, I see
Into Miami.
Messi's everywhere. Now, Griezmann, he just signed like 2 days ago in Orlando, so it's going to be huge. So it's booming. And when I see kids playing in, playground, they have, football balloon to play with. So it it changes. Something changes.
And how do you feel like the industry is going to be growing? Because you went to the convention center. Now
Yeah.
you're obviously talking to a lot of clubs. Do you
Yeah.
feel like clubs are now starting to grow, like on the business side as well, financially, or in tech, or in
Both. Yeah. In both sides. Of course, business side is very important for them because they are a franchise, so they need to make money. But how do you make money if you have a poor team? So they need also to improve in the sporting side.
How do you feel like scouting is in America though? Because like I find, I'm not sure how much you know about like the youth soccer pyramid, but like I'm a scout for the undiscovered player. So like I take a big pride in like scouting because I'm looking for an undiscovered player. So I'm not going to like a pro MLS academy because they've got all the best players, right? Because they're already there. They've been filtered into that system. But I'm trying to find like a player in Wyoming or I don't know, Texas in the middle of nowhere and like give them an opportunity. So how do you feel like, because in Paris, like I'm sure everyone knows about the best players because it's all in one area, but in America it's so big, so there's so much opportunity to go and scout.
That's why we're here. It's big because there are a lot of opportunities in scouting. A lot.
Like what?
Because the America is huge. So you have tons of private academies, tons of new players, tons of colleges, universities. So it means ton of players you have to scout. So I think that the number of scouts in the US will grow dramatically for the next 5 to 10 years.
I want to talk also about you being an entrepreneur. Like when you're building a team, how do you know when you need to make a hire? How do you know when you need to add someone to your team?
When the planning of my team is full, it means that I need to hire someone. And when I develop a new features, and I don't have anybody with the skills in my own team, it means that I need to get someone.
And if I want to work in football for a company, where do you think that is? Are you posting a lot of jobs on LinkedIn or Indeed?
Yes. LinkedIn is the best place to work in. To see opportunities.
So tell me about your experience with LinkedIn, because I think LinkedIn is a cheat code. I think that for a lot of players, they're on TikTok, Instagram, which is good, Twitter, but people like the players that I talk to listening to this are like 16 to 18. They're not on LinkedIn. Like, tell me about LinkedIn. How can I use LinkedIn?
So as you said, Instagram or TikTok is for fans. LinkedIn is for professional, not only in the football industry, but any kind of professionals. So you have scouts, video, data analysts, coaches, clubs, GM, sporting directors on LinkedIn. So you need to, have, of course, a LinkedIn page with the whole description of your career, and you need to post on a regular basis. Not only highlights, but analysis, which is, in my mind, very different. Highlight is only what you've done good during the game. Analysis is something very different because you try to understand the whole tactics and why you acted this way to play.
What's the biggest mistake that, because I'm sure that you have a lot of people that buy your course and they fail, or they don't do it, or they waste time, or they don't complete the course. And it's interesting because I think there's a lot of players and people in life that invest in things and they don't take full advantage of the opportunity. What's something you see a mistake that a lot of people make on your platforms?
The first thing you have to do if you want to work in any industry is to, be sure that it's your passion, that it's your goal. So maybe 20 or 30% of the people who are subscribing to our service, if they just don't finish the course, it's because they just realize that it's not something that they will love to do on a day-to-day basis. They don't stop the course only because it's too hard or because you have closed the doors in the football industry and it's going to be more complicated. They just stop because they're not passionate enough and they realize that it's not something for them.
What's your advice on starting a business in football?
Interesting. Find a niche market and be the best at what you're doing on the niche market. You don't have to be global to succeed at the beginning. We focused on niche markets since the last 15 years. But we are the world leader on their niche markets. For example, on the platform, sports agent institutes were selling our service in more than 140 countries, 3 different languages, having the best agencies as clients. So we are the number one. Same for Formation Football, scouting, video, data analysis courses. We have the trust from PSG, Porto, Real Sociedad, Arsenal, Marseille, Monaco, blah, blah, and 5,000 subscribers per year.
When you have a task that you don't want to do, or a task that you're not motivated to do, what makes you do it? What gets you through it?
As an entrepreneur, you mean?
For example, you have a big to-do list and you're like, I really don't want to send that email, or I don't want to go to that meeting.
Go out of the office, walk a little bit, or take one day off, and then come back the day after saying, okay, now it's the right time to do it.
How do you balance your schedule? Because at some points, I think you work 7 days a week, 12 hours.
From 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
So how do you balance your schedule and make sure you don't burn out?
As I said, I'm just passionate about what I'm doing, so I don't feel I have to work every day, and it's hard. And
you feel like it's a hobby you enjoy?
Not really a hobby, because I have more responsibilities, but it's just fun. Just fun. And it's fun when the project is working, but it's also fun when it's not working.
What fulfills you?
Building something. Yeah, that's something that I need to do on the day-to-day. I need to build something. I need to grow. I need to develop the company. I need to find something new partnerships, new features. And now, with AI, it's amazing.
How do you think AI will influence football?
A lot. It will influence a lot.
Why?
A lot. Because it will help you getting the knowledge very fast and do all the job that you don't want to do. AI will do it for you, and much better than you.
You mentioned there about something where you're always trying to find something and grow and build. At what point will you be like, this is enough?
I don't have the answer now.
Is it something that you think about? Like, at what point will you be like, I'm fulfilled?
When I retired. When my body will say, okay, no, now you're too old or too tired.
The reason why I ask you is because I'm having this conversation at the moment with Victor, who I co-founded Select Generation with, and I think I personally think it's like a video game. I like building systems. It's like a puzzle, like trying to figure out, like, okay, we need to do this and this, and this will be strategic. This won't be a good idea, so we should move this aside, hire this person, do this. And we've had this conference. Like, I'm like the face, so I want to do everything. I would never say no to a new idea. We'll do this. We'll figure it out. Okay, yes. My answer is yes. And I don't know how we're going to do it, but I will figure it out. And he's more like, okay, we need like more operations. Like, no, this is a bad idea, blah, blah, blah. And he's telling me, like, Sam, at what point will you stop? Because at some point, like, it's going to be too much. And I'm like, yeah, but we're just getting started. Like, this is exciting. We have growth. We have momentum. Like, we need to keep building. But then I'm thinking to myself, like, at some points I'm drained. I'm like, this is too much. I think it's part of the process, right? But at some points I'm like, at what point will you be like, okay, I'm good? Or maybe that's just the curse of being an entrepreneur. Like, you reach a level and you want to go.
That's the answer.
But I guess that's why you might be successful too.
But as you said, to my opinion, entrepreneurship is like a roller coaster. Some days you are, wow, that's amazing, and some days, okay, I'm done. I will try to find another job in another industry. But the day after, you have good news, and you're very happy again, and blah blah blah. So it's all about up and downs. But when you are, I would say, a builder, you will always be. So I'm a little bit like you. I'm always thinking about something new, a new market, a new features, a new thing, and on the football industry, but also on other industries. So it never ends.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anthony, I want to say, so just lastly, just to finish off here, what is your biggest piece of advice to the younger generation who want to be successful?
as
As
soccer,
people.
as people,
Yeah.
be passionate, very.
But what does passionate mean? Because I might be really passionate about something, but I suck. I don't have the skills.
You have to be passionate and very. Is that the good word? Realistic.
Realistic, yeah.
Yeah. So how could you do what you love on a day-to-day basis with your own skills, and you will be
Amazing.
very happy.
Amazing. I want to say also to the camera, I want to say that I used the Sports Agent Institute for my FIFA licensed agent
Great.
exam, and I knew I wanted to become a FIFA licensed agent, so I was like, okay, I need to study for this. I need to practice, and I didn't have a lot of time because I was full time.
Yeah.
So I was Googling platforms, and I read some reviews. I did a couple of YouTube videos, and I was like, okay, Sports Agent Institute, like this is legit. I studied probably for like an hour a day. I did a lot of practice tests, like 10 practice tests, always trying to figure out like what I did wrong, what I was struggling at, and it gave me everything that I needed. And that's the reason why I passed the exam.
Wow. Thank you very much.
So I want to say thank you for that. That was
Thank you
a
very
good
much.
feature, you know.
Wow.
But no, Anthony, thank you so much for coming on the podcast
Thank
today.
you very much for the invitation.
I appreciate
it. Was amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Top.